Well, welcome everyone. This is Tuesday, June 12th. We are going to start our book study on How to Sell Network Marketing of Fear, Anxiety, or Losing Your Friends by Michael Oliver. Great methodology. I'm going to lead the discussion today through the just an overview of what this is all about. And so first of all, to begin with, Adeline and Wendy, thank you for being on the book study today. I'm looking forward to going through this. For me personally, I read this probably 10, 15 years ago, probably getting a little rusty. It's always important to have excellent communication skills no matter what you're doing in life, not just network marketing, but just relationships with your family, relationships with friends, and certainly business relationships. It's really, really important to have good communication skills. So I really feel that this book is to help us to be better communicators and better listeners by teaching us the better questions to ask at the right time to be able to connect to people logically and emotionally, and to really listen. So I'm excited about going through this myself, and I'm glad the two of you are joining. And for those of you on the replay line, that's fantastic. I know some of you have full-time jobs but are still excited to be participating, and I'm looking forward to having Phyllis join us in the summer and maybe a few others while we go through this. And the other purpose is to stay connected with the team. I need the energy, and hopefully you do as well as a team support. As we go through life with its ups and downs, having team support is fantastic. With that being said, so let's just talk about Adeline and Wendy. What are you looking forward to? Like, what would you like to achieve from this book study?
Just learning better communication.
Because I say right now, the state that I'm at right now, when it comes to selling, I just kind of freeze when it comes to selling. So I'm really hoping to overcome this whatever inner blockage is happening so that I can kind of move ahead.
Mm-hmm. So when you feel like you're selling, what do you experience?
Well, I don't like being sold to. So when I feel I'm doing it to somebody else, it just feels all wrong. So then I just kind of go into shutdown mode.
Okay. And do you think that may be roadblocking you to do some follow-ups?
Oh, absolutely, I'm sure.
Okay. And what you're experiencing is what most of the team experiences. It's the anxiety, then the fear, the negative self-talk, not knowing what to say, not wanting to bug people, all those. And then the
I really don't like bugging. It feels like I'm bugging them, just sort of like, yeah.
Right. And that's what robs most of us from success. In fact, this overview, I'm just going to go through the overview, but in the overview, they talk about even if you just change by 15%, you could all be superstars in this. Because Adeline, your heart's in there. You do want to help people. And I know, Wendy, you do as well. And you both want to be super successful. So what is stopping us? It's not knowing what to say, when to say it, but also that fear. So a lot of times procrastination comes up then. It's like, okay, this becomes more important or that becomes more important. And we all have other challenges in life. But once it gets to the point where you're not making any time for the business, then you know that there's something that's blocking us inside. So he does such a wonderful job in conveying and understanding what we all go through to help us get through this. And change, I find when you read this, it's like shifting your perspective on what we do and why we do it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So have you read, I'm just going to go through the foreword and the overview. Have you both read that?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've read the overview. All right. So how we're going to do this is each one of us will take a different chapter and read it and be responsible to guide the discussions. And what I would like to suggest is that we do have some PowerPoint slides created. I actually have some slides from the previous book study on this. So whoever takes chapter 1 or chapter 2, I can send you some slides as well. And then, do you know how to use PowerPoint?
Yeah.
I've been mostly a recipient of people using PowerPoint. I've never used it myself. So,
Okay, well,
maybe a little framework right there.
did the doorbell ring? Oh, the doorbell rang. So just hang on a moment. I'll be right back. Sorry. Let me see. Oh, record mode. I'll just pause soon. Okay, so the overview. If you look at page 5 of the overview, he talks about, he's going to teach us how to communicate both with the right brain and the left brain. And they often, people say that, people buy on emotion and justify with logic. So it's being able to connect with both. So an example is, what do I do is a left brain. So when people join network marketing, they're like, okay, what do I do now, Sheila? What do I do? So that's the left brain, logical, systematized. And so when we did the book study with Suzanne Cunningham's book, Laser Focus, that's the left brain saying, okay, prospect, follow up, present, train. Those are the very logical steps, which is awesome. She did a fantastic job in outlining the left brain, logical, systematized things that we need to do, the money producing activities. But then the next question is, what do I say? People say, well, okay, what do I say? What do I say? What do I say? And when we give them a script, that's the left brain. Here's the script. But what do I do is I actually don't use a script. I use this selling, which is a little harder to teach. So it's a lot easier to say, here's a script. This is what you do. You make 5 million calls, and this is what you say. You could do that. Then it becomes a numbers game. And then you're faced with way more rejection. And a lot of times we just have to do that to get started. But if you want to be a master prospector, learning this method of what do I say by connecting to people emotionally, the right brain, bringing out their feelings and emotions, is going to take you from average salesman to superstar communicator. So that's what I love about this. So it's not a one approach fits all, other than there is a system of questions and listening skills that will help people share more. So a lot of times people say, oh my God, he's such a good salesman. He could sell Santa in Arab because he's just talks. Well, oh, Adeline, you're muted.
Okay, sorry, I was just talking to Mike for a second.
Oh, okay. Were you going to share anything? No.
No, I was just encouraging to come sit.
Oh, yes. So it isn't the best talker that makes all the money. It's the best listener who can effectively communicate. Because if you ask the right questions, your prospect will tell you everything you need to know. Now, if you go to the next 2 pages up, page 7, in the middle of the page, it talks about what we say and the words we say contain energy, either positive or negative, different types of energy. And so let's talk about the word prospect. Michael Oliver says, he uses the term potential partner versus prospect. Because when you label someone, it negates him and her. And this is true. When we're prospecting, they're just a prospect. It has a way different energy than I'm looking for a new potential partner. How do you feel like when I say the word prospect, or when you say the word prospect versus potential partner? Do you feel there's a difference in energy?
Well, definitely. Yeah,
I feel
that would engage them. If they're a partner, then they're already engaged, I would think. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe how we approach them and how we feel about them is different. Because how about you, Adeline? Do you feel the difference when you say I got a prospect versus I'm looking for a potential partner?
it was a huge difference. Just the energy that I got from those two different phrases
Okay.
is like, oh, it really was quite an eye opener. This prospect, I really don't like that term.
Mm-hmm.
Partner, so it's sort of like, oh, I'm feeling more positive, more energetic about that term.
Mm-hmm.
So talk
The
about
word
some of the
prospect sort of suggests that you're being preyed upon. It's like attack and ready to jump.
Well, and isn't that what most salespeople do? Is they attack their victim, right?
Yeah, right.
Versus, when you're prospecting versus looking for a new potential teammate or potential partner or potential business partner, it's a way different feeling. A business partner or a potential partner, however, I kind of like viewing it as a business partner, because that's what we are. We're all business partners in this business. It's the long-term relationship. To me, partner means relationship. Prospect means they come and go, right? They're just a number. So he goes on to say, your words are an extension of your thoughts, and they create an energy you carry with you, and that people intuitively tune into. You can't escape this unless you change your thoughts. So let's, and Adeline, it's all about the way we think, right? How you think creates how you feel. So maybe even making this one simple shift, and I will too, we're going to make this shift together, that we're not going to prospect anymore. We're going to look for potential partners. And they could be Oveview partners, they could be Get Healthy partners, they could be USANA business partners. So that's makes me feel better, certainly.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Yeah, because it's just a whole different energy level, completely different vibe.
So how about what can we do to remind ourselves to refer to people that we approach as potential partners? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take like a Post-it note, and I'm going to write down potential partner, and I'm going to stick it in front of me on my cork board, so that every day I look, and right next to my I have a $1 million bill to help motivate me to continue to, that was what I used to get to the $1 million club. I'm going to put potential partner on here. What would work for you to help remind you to change the terminology that you use?
I think just hearing the term used more often, because even listening to, for example, Eric Worre, he does use or others like him, all use the term prospect. So I just think just hearing the term potential partner more often amongst ourselves, I think goes a long way too, just absorbing that energy.
Okay. Well, let's, is it okay, like I'm giving you full permission that when I use the word prospect to say, hey, time out, potential partner. I want you to be my,
Yeah, we can censor each other.
right. That's a good word I'm trying to write. We will censor each other. I give you full permission to censor me.
Not censure, encourage.
Encourage.
Encourage, yeah.
Refocus.
Yeah.
be the prospect,
Develop new habits.
okay. All right, so we will keep each other accountable and help each other to make that shift. So potential partners, awesome. Then if you turn the page, page 8 and 9, I love the picture. For those of you who don't have it, if you can see the picture, this is the traditional pyramid of selling. This is the model he's using. So what do you see as the difference?
Well, when I was looking at the pictures, and even after reading the text associated with it, I still kind of go like, I feel like a little doggy in the window, just tilting my head one way and tilting the other way, kind of like the picture doesn't really. Yeah, there's something missing in the picture for me.
Okay, how about you, Wendy?
There.
Well, I understand it's like a change to what we're accustomed to like traditionally. I think like sales is like go get them and like just talk until you know that you wear them down and then they just want to sell to get rid of you.
They say yes on a submission. Okay, I'll say yes to get rid of you.
As opposed to turning that upside down and drawing them in. It's about them. It's not about you. It's about them. That's what I get out of the whole thing.
Okay. And when you said about wear them down, it's kind of like the dog and the cat. Have you ever heard about this analogy, the dog and the cat? When you come into the house and you have a dog, what does the dog do?
Jumps on you.
Jumps
it runs to you, jumps on you, licks you, shows affection. Yeah.
To the point, it's like, get away from me. Like the dog's just like smothering you and sniffing you. It's like, holy, okay. Versus what does the cat do?
Well, what mine do is they come to the door and they look at me. One talks to me. But others, they just are like, okay, they're waiting. What am I going to do now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're more aloof.
Yeah. Do they ever kind of brush up a little bit and then kind of walk away?
Yeah.
They walk around me. They'll come up and brush up alongside me, but they're not overpowering. Like.
And do you ever feel like wanting to pick them up or cuddle them then?
I do, but these two don't like it. Odd cats, yeah. But they're very unique.
Yeah.
So that to me is a big difference.
So when I look at these the traditional selling. Adeline, you're breaking up. I think your Wi-Fi must be slow. No, oh, you're frozen now. Wendy, you still there?
I'm here, but okay. I don't hear Adeline. I don't see her.
Oh,
you're back. Are you back?
There she is.
You're back. Okay.
What were you saying, Adeline? Because you were fading out.
Oh, because I'm not sure where things got frozen out.
Talk about your cats. Your cats are a little different, but you would. They're a little.
You asked if you'd pick them up, or would you pick them up? Yeah, or something like, I don't know.
Well, all the cats I've had over the years have all been very different. Some like being picked up. These two don't. Some were bigger conversationalists. Some aren't. So they're all extremely unique. So I find that with a cat, you have to pay a little bit more attention to the body language.
Okay.
And, so to find out what they're willing to tolerate or accept or want.
I love that, what you just said, body language. You have to pay more attention to their body language to see what they're willing to accept. So let's think about our potential partners. Do we want to treat them like a dog? So traditional selling pyramid is more like the dog approach, where we build very little rapport, we're all over them, and we wear them down until they say yes to get rid of us. That's the traditional. That's how you get lots of rejection, right? The natural selling is more how the cat approaches. 90% of the time, the cat's coming around, it's kind of just gently wisping by and kind of teasing you, and you have to look at the cat, and and the cat, by reading their language, and you'll know what the cat wants. So if we think about potential partners, we have to be like the cat. We have to, we have to draw them in so that they want to pick us up. So 90% of the time is just the building, discovery and building relationship. And when that person picks us up, that would be like the presentation phase. And when they cuddle us, that would be like the commitment phase. So we want to be more like cats than dogs. We want to chase people away. We want to entice them to come to us. So how do you accomplish that? Well, if you turn to the next page, there's 4 principles that form the foundation. Principle 1, helping other people solve their problems. Because people remember this, they're what's in it for them. People are always focused on themselves. What's in it for them? They have busy lives, they have problems. How can we help solve their problems? If we can, we may not be able to. Our offering may not be what they're looking for. 2, listening to what is being meant, not what is being said. And Adeline, you know this from our NLP training, right?
Even though knowing it from the NLP training, reading that was still another, because I noticed that I'm still listening to what just people say and not what they mean. So I think there's a lot of work for me to be done on that aspect too. So it was kind of like a real eye opener for me to read that. I'm like, ooh.
Well, it's kind of like taking what Jackie teaches, the NLP principles, and now applying them into our real life situation.
Mm-hmm.
So as we know from NLP, what people say is just a very small part of the communication, the words they use. And that's why it's really hard to communicate with text messages and Facebook messages and emails, because it's hard to convey if you're excited or angry, or like you could say the same thing 5 different ways and have 5 different meanings from the same words. It depends on the tonality, on the emphasis, the body language. So we have to look at the whole physiology. So we have to look at the whole body. And there's, as we know from NLP, there could be very subtle little changes that if we don't pick up on it, they're communicating that we're not listening to. We're not listening by watching. So it's watching the whole body language. That's why it's a lot easier to have an effective communication when you're engaging with people face to face versus in a text message, Facebook message, email, or even over the phone. So this is a huge one. So it's the best listener becomes the best salesperson. And sales meaning that we're not in selling. A lot of times, a lot of us have a negative connotation of selling because we think we're doing something that's not right for the person. But I mean selling from the heart, like heart-centered selling, that we really want to help people. The third thing is ask the right questions at the right time. So it's really listening and asking the right questions, because we could have a whole list of questions and we don't want to be like a drill sergeant, just question, 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 question. And it has to be a conversation. It's like a dance, a flow. And the fourth principle we're going to learn from this book is feeding back what you think you heard they want. So it's understanding, listening, and then feeding back to confirm what you think they said is really what they said. And again, that's another NLP skill that we've learned. All right. Any questions about the 4 principles?
No, I just thought they were fabulous.
And I love what he says here, heart-to-heart communication. I love that feeling. This is heart-to-heart communication. We are communicating at the heart level. And that's where we get this emotional connection and really are here to serve people. And isn't that a way different feeling than we got to get them? We got to get them.
Yeah.
Yeah. We go to get them is just sort of like, oh.
Right. So heart to heart. So again, this is something that you may want to have a little Post-it note or something that's going to remind you, or have a little, maybe some Valentine cinnamon hearts or something, some hearts somewhere just to remind you this is about heart-to-heart communication. About finding potential partners that we can help and that want what we're offering. So how do we do this? There's 5 stages that we're going to learn in this book of a conversation framework. First one is connecting. Next one is discovery and listening. Third one's transitioning. Fourth one's presenting. Fifth one's committing and supporting. So these are universal principles for all types of communication, not just to build your network marketing business. That's why going through this book study is actually going to help you with all your relationships in your life. And my book years ago, I got this little bookmarker that actually shows the 5 stages. So it's a good little reminder. Okay, so just moving on to page 11. How to use this book? Well, principle number 1, practice. So this is a type of book you got to chew, swallow, and digest. It's not one of those books you just read, oh, this is great, and you just read it and just kind of forget about it. This is, we have to practice, practice, practice. So become an effective communicator. We're going to go step by step. We're going to learn a little bit. We're going to practice in real life. Learn a little bit, practice in real life to really integrate it into our being. So it isn't just doing, it's becoming. This has to, and when I first got involved in network marketing, this was 24 years ago, I listened to training tapes over and over and over and over again so that it became who I am. So right now, a lot of times, I almost find it hard to teach because it's just so internal to me, it's so natural. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. So that's why. So practice. Doing and being. And this takes time and practice. Number 2, quantity of practice is more important than quality. Welcome, everyone. It is week 3 of our Get Healthy program. I want to applaud all of you for being on the call. And for those of you who are listening to the replay live. Oh, I'm not sure how that happened to Adeline, but okay, I muted her. Okay, so number 2, quantity of practice is more important than quality. Says here, the quality and deeper understanding will follow. This is not a numbers game, how many people can get you through and present to in a day. This is a numbers game of how many quality problem-solving conversations can you have in a day. So I find that number 2 is a little confusing. Quantity of practice is more important than quality. But it goes on to say it's both. You want to have quality problem-solving conversations. So what we're basically saying, we're going to read and then every day use a skill that we're learning. Number 3, keep your conversations relaxed. So again, this is a different feeling. So, Adeline, remember when you said, when you feel like you need to follow up, you get really tight and anxious. Number 3 of implementing this is just keeping it a conversation. Just keep it a relaxed conversation. Number 4 is let go of the attachment of the outcome. And I love this. I think this is going to make a big shift in myself, is that if you approach this as of a conversation and and you really almost don't care the outcome. When you're practicing these principles, you're not going to think, okay, I'm going to do this to get them to my Oveview party. Then you become anxious. But if you approach this as like, you don't really care in some ways of where the conversation is going to lead. You're just going to go through the process. You're going to listen. You're just going to apply the principles and let go of the outcome. Then you're going to have a more relaxed conversation. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, Wendy, and I applaud you for being at the craft sale on a beautiful Sunday and taking your time. But when you were engaging in someone like at a craft sale, it's like letting go of the outcome and just using these principles to have this great conversation with people. And it just is so much better and less anxiety than thinking, I got to get them. Number 5, do not start selling as soon as you get a glimpse of an opportunity. And I sometimes, they may say one thing, open the door. Like if they say, I wish I had more money, you jump in, I got something for you. He said, hold off. When the door opens, keep it relaxed. Remember the cat. The cat doesn't pounce on you as soon as you get through the door. He said, use these principles. Presenting too early is the #1 cause of objections and rejection. Instead, find out what is behind this kind of statement. So asking more questions. Number 6, go slow to go fast. Now this is the one you think, oh my God, if I got to do this, I'll never get anywhere. I'll never build my business. That his number 6 is go slow to get fast. This is a journey of discovery. I love the Chinese proverb says, wait long and strike fast. So this is, so let's trust the process of going through this. And number 7, invest time in people. If you only find one person a month who joins for the right reasons, and everybody that joins follows these principles, and like Suzanne Cunningham said, if we all sponsor just one a month, you will have over 4,000 distributors on your team in a year. Like that is so mind-blowing. It's almost hard to believe, but I know when people develop these skills, the world's your oyster. Like when you develop these skills and apply them, there will be absolutely no stopping. All of us can be diamond directors. All of us can be super successful because you all have it in you. It's just developing the skills to be able to do it effectively.
Yeah. When I read this, one person once a month, they both do the same thing, and 4,000 people in a year. My gut reaction is, yeah, right. It to me that phrase is that dog that's all over me. Yeah. It's just sort of like, get away, I'm being honest. It's just my reaction is just sort of like, this is pie in the sky.
Yeah. Well, it's almost hard to comprehend. So let's take a step back and let's just focus on the question, if you apply this, and I know, Adeline, you have lots of contacts, you've been doing lots of prospecting. The area that you're challenged in, like most of us, is follow-up. And I know, Wendy, you got like lists and lists of people. If what Michael Oliver is teaching us is true, and we follow it, do you feel you could sponsor one person a month?
I would like to think I could.
It seems reasonable.
Okay. And how does that feel, Adeline? Does that feel like that you want to push that away, or does that feel okay?
The one a month is more within the realm of possibility.
Okay. And I can see you're smiling, and your physiology looks positive. So let's just focus on that. Let's forget about the big number. Let's just take this one step at a time. And Suzanne Cunningham, in her laser focus, step by step, focus 10 hours a week. She shows that you could sponsor one a month. And now taking this methodology and implementing that, combining it with her philosophy, I really feel that we can sponsor one a month. And I'm saying that because I've been in this business 22 years, and on average, I sponsor one a month in my last 22 years. By taking hers and this philosophy, I've been able to do this. So it is doable. And I'm no different than you are. I mean, I had to develop the skills, and I really focused on developing those skills at the beginning. I mean, I was just, every spare moment I had, I was determined to be successful. And I read and studied and practiced with like such intensity. And look what has, what was achieved. So I know from experience, I'm sharing this with you, not to impress you, but press upon you that you guys, the two of you and whoever's listening to the replay line, you can do this. And the reason why I'm taking you through this book study, because I found that it made a major shift in me and how I approached people many, many, many years ago. So that is that's the overview. Wasn't that powerful?
Very.
So the last couple sentences in that chapter is, find the right people who want to join with you, people who want to make a difference in their lives, just like you are doing. So once again, it's getting away from that, prospect, just find someone, to really looking more for a potential partner that you want to really keep, instead of just going through a list of a bunch of prospects.
Right. And that's one of the things I love about referring to us as the USANA family, because it is attracting the right people and, long-term, people who are strong, loyal, and want to work with you for a lifetime. So the objectives, if they would just turn to the next page and then wrap it up, page 15. Objectives of the book: to change your thoughts and your approach, to help you change your thoughts and your approach to selling and business, so you can get the positive results you're seeking in less time without using traditional presentation, persuasive, and manipulative techniques. Okay. The next one, eliminate whatever anxieties or fear you're having about connecting with people when approaching them. Third is learn how to ask skillful, non-intrusive questions that allow people to think about and reveal to you, as well as themselves, their real needs. So it's helping them have self-discovery. Again, a lot of NLP skills that you've learned, Adeline, we're now applying. The fifth one, learn how to listen to what people say and don't say, and what to listen for and what will motivate them to listen to you. And then the last one is customize this communication to suit your own style and personality, because we're all different cats.
Meow.
So like, what are you going to do for me? Eh? And not be that salesman, to put it very crudely, but you've ever had a dog come up to you and stick their nose right in your crotch right away?
Yeah.
That's very off-putting.
Let's not be the dog.
I don't want to be that salesman.
Great. Okay, so I'm just going to end the record mode with that thought, Adeline.